What's up, everybody?
Welcome. Ooh, the sun just hit my eye weird, and I blinked.
It's lit out here.
It is.
So right now, today's episode, we're gonna get into it. It's pretty fun. You're actually gonna be like about a week out, a week late from this. But before we get into all that, you know what time it is. Begging time. Like, subscribe, hit the follow button, notification. Begging time. Yeah, just for these likes. So go ahead and do that and help us.
Not me over here dying because my eye.
Yeah. But let's continue. We at Lottie's right now, and today, as we record this, it is Lottie's 90th birthday. They started here May 15th, 1935, right here in Chicago.
25?
35. I said 35.
I thought it was 25.
No, 90 years is 35.
34.
34, yeah.
Math.
Right, you know what I'm saying? 1934. Thought that's what I said.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hold on.
All right, so we're gonna walk a little bit, and we're gonna show you the scene here.
Yeah.
Is kind of lit.
So cute. I love when Chicagoans just come out and celebrate their little history.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do today. It's pretty fun. They got 90-cent burgers and draft beers today to celebrate 90 years, but it's 77 flavors of Chicago. We're gonna tell you some history, and to do that,
look at the sign that says part of Chicago's history.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And today, what we're gonna do is talk to the owner, who's gonna show us some pretty dope stuff.
Yeah.
Down in the basement. And if you know anything about the history,
you know what time it is.
You know what time it is. So let's get to it and see what's going on.
Let's do it.
All right, so right now, while we wait on the owner, Mark, he's being interviewed by WGN. You saw it. But so while we wait for him, we actually went downstairs to the basement where a lot of the history starts. And let's break it down for you a little bit. So if you don't know that this part of Chicago, like in the Bucktown area right here, the streets were raised to like help the sewer system. And in doing so, right now, this basement was actually the original first floor of Lottie's, which is really cool.
That is really cool. Right behind us.
Yes.
Are what used to be the windows.
Yes, it's a mirror now. And I believe the fridge is back there. You could probably hear it. But yeah, that was the window. That was the first floor. People could look out and look outside. But also, this used to be the Rathskeller, which was the speakeasy that...
Not confirmed, an unconfirmed area where people used to gather and do very
fun things.
Legal business.
Fun things, you know, like bet that somebody's going to win something. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't want to get caught up in the crossfires, but this is when all the
100 years old, 90 years old.
Right. Yeah, you're not coming for me. I promise you that. This is on the internet. No.
Yeah, the ghosts are here somewhere. So
not
we're
me.
gonna leave with a ghost.
Yeah, but this is pretty dope. Take a look at it. Yeah. It's pretty fun. So I think Mark is ready, and we're gonna go talk to him. We're gonna actually talk to him down here.
Hopefully, we'll see some artifacts of some cool things, some newspaper clippings.
And, about that bone story. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of that. Yeah, pause.
Hello, Mark Dimitrovich. I'm the owner of Lottie's Pub, and you're here on the day of our 90th anniversary. So welcome. Let's go take a look at some stuff. It's named after Lottie Zagorski, and Lottie was the obviously the original owner of Lottie's Pub, and it's one of the few bars in the United States that picked up a liquor license right after Prohibition was lifted in 1934, and that's how we got to our 90 years here today.
Oh wow! So literally that year. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
How did it happen so fast?
Why everybody was waiting. They were already serving. They just needed the actual license.
Yeah. Lottie was smart.
Yeah. And so it was a little tavern grocery store at one point. Once upon a time, these were on every corner in the city. I'm sure all four corners had a little tavern. This was back in the day before television and that stuff. This was everybody's living room. Mm-hmm. So this is if you look at the cooler here. That's kind of a throwback to the tavern liquor store area and the original glass cooler. And actually, that thing works better than any piece of refrigerated equipment I've ever had.
Cold?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a fridge?
Oh, yeah. And it works better than anything I've ever had. Least amount of maintenance. It's like old school technology, and I'd take it again any day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so really cool. Dope.
How do you get a wood glass refrigerator nowadays? Because that is that's a cool piece.
Yeah.
Are you the only ones in the city with something like that?
Nah, you'll see a few around. There's not many, but there are a few around still.
Are you the oldest?
What's that?
Are you the oldest one?
There, there's places that are older,
Okay.
but like I said, there's a few I think, but I'm not even actually sure.
Right.
So is the bar also like the bar itself also original?
I mean, it's total Art Deco, so I'm gonna imagine it's
Yes.
if it wasn't right then, shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got all kind of
You
all
can
the
definitely see the
markings.
Art Deco style.
Yeah, exactly. And then the round cutouts,
Yep.
and then the neon and the glass rods and all that stuff. So.
So what's with all the hats and the t-shirts? Is that like your thing?
Oh yeah, our merchandise.
When did that start?
I had a promotional products company where I did hats, shirts, and stuff like that. Like that's when I started, and once I got the bar, I already knew how to do this stuff. So we've had Lottie's hats from day one, and just over the years, it's exploded. It's really just taken on a life of its own.
I saw an orange one outside that I'm super jealous of.
Yeah. And it's been a time. I mean, like it's so much fun because we keep coming out like limited releases, and it's almost like Nike's now at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
It really, now when we announce it, people come running in like, I got to get it before it sells out and all that stuff.
That
So
90th hat right there, though.
Yeah.
it's long. I grossly underestimated the
Yes,
popularity.
you definitely did.
We did 3 in the series, and every one of them like disappeared in the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. That's a fire hat. Chicago colors too.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I mean, Lottie was, iconic and legendary. Like, I'm getting a lot of this information from people that lived in the neighborhood. In fact, when we did our 85th anniversary, there's a lot of guys in their 90s, like wheeling down in wheelchairs. They wanted to come by and kind of like pay homage and share their stories. But there's a lot of people that still remember Lottie or were kids when Lottie was around. So basically, like an integral part of the neighborhood. They said like help people out, loan people money, just a one-stop shop. But then she also, her last name was Zagorski. She was Polish, and Lottie got the Polish vote in the 32nd ward, and that she was, politically connected. And what comes with politics, it comes a little bit of corruption.
Yeah.
And I guess, as they say, like this was a really big payoff place.
Yeah.
Where you'd come in, you'd buy a beer. Lottie knew who to give the change to. In fact, it was interesting, years back, we got it. Mayor Daley was in the neighborhood doing something, and I get a call from the precinct captain. He's like, you need to get down here, you need to get down here. Daley's talking about Lottie's. And I didn't get there in time, but they were telling me he was out front just going, he's like, this is history. This is history. He's like, I remember my dad bringing me here as a kid.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
yeah.
So where we're standing right now wasn't like the first floor, right? Because the streets were raised for the
Yeah, there was
store.
something down. Yeah, there was something downstairs. So when we got it, like there's window wells, and then there was a crack in the sidewalk we could see through. And then when we got the place, it was a really low ceiling. Like I couldn't stand. There's like little light wells. I'd have to stand in there.
Oh wow.
And so the first thing we did is we dug it out, and we dug down 3.5 feet. And that's when we figured out this was the original floor, and we still can't figure out why they filled it in, but they did. So we actually brought it down.
Pretty good guess as to why there's like a hidden first floor.
I don't know if it was something to do with the street or whatever, and I don't know, flooding maybe way back then before sump pumps or I have no idea actually.
Should we go down there and take a look at that space?
And then I do, if you want to hear more about that digging out,
I do want to hear more about that.
Okay,
Absolutely.
let's go. So these were the window wells. So we just kind of made it part of the back bar. That's why they're so deep.
That's so nuts.
Yeah.
So this went to the sidewalk then, or what would be?
Yeah, exactly. So it was, the street was probably about,
Right here?
this
Yeah.
height or close to it,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And you all were the ones to dig it up and see and be like, oh wow.
Yeah.
How did that feel that day?
What's that?
When you found it, it's like excavation, like.
Yeah, well, eventually you got down to like, okay, this, because we always, they call it a footing.
Yeah.
We're like, is there a footing in this place? And then we got down as the footing, so that was where the original, we weren't sure, and then like, wow, this really was the original floor. Why did they do this? We have no idea. But based on what was interesting, based on Lottie's history, when we were digging it out, at one point, they found some bones.
Oh.
And so when you find bones, you have to treat it like a homicide.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we were terrified, and my partner, his father-in-law used to be in charge of violent crimes, and he's like, listen, you need to keep this quiet.
Oh, God.
Just go through the proper procedure, but you don't want people knowing about this. And I remember there was kind of like a nosy neighbor cop that used to always come around. And so when they came to see what the bones were, they have to bring an ambulance.
Right.
Treat it like
Really?
yeah.
Even though it's ancient.
Yeah, and
old,
we're talking, a collection of
Way to keep
bones
it
that could
quiet.
fit in your hand. So they brought a whole ambulance, and then
Wow.
I was going out of town, and
Oh, God.
I was here, and then as I was getting in my cab, I saw the nosy cop pull up, and then I got to O'Hare, and I'm waiting for my flight, and I see on the TVs
Oh no.
Oh, no.
helicopters broadcasting live saying bones found on Lottie's. No.
No.
Broadcasting live. Before I get on the plane, I'm like, I can't believe it.
Was the vacation good then? Were you still?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
We have video of it, like when I got to LA, because at the time my friend's in reality TV, and he was shooting a pilot for somebody who wanted to do a makeover show.
Yeah.
So we were shooting it here, and I went out to LA. We just found the old footage, so we're gonna put something together eventually. But it's of me explaining to him, like, right before I got here, and then I'm like, this all just happened.
Trust
And
me,
that's before the smartphone stuff
Yeah.
too. So I'm seeing what's on TV as your only news source. And then it was funny too, because I had a good buddy of mine that he was kind of in between jobs when I first got the place. He worked here, and he was a big smart ass, and he was taking all the phone calls. And he's like, I don't know whose bones they are. They might be Jimmy Hoffa for all I know.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, he was playing it up, and then of course the news went
Yeah.
nuts with it. So
Yeah, that Jimmy Hoffa wasn't out here.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
No,
So what kind of bones did they turn out?
I mean, they just basically said it was animal bones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Said it was animal.
Yeah.
Is it actually animal? You can tell us.
Who knows? Who knows?
Breaking news right here.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Decades later.
Yeah.
All right, most of these articles I have found, like I went and like researched this, researched this, and I went down to like the archives. Like I had the Chicago Public Library help me, like over the years, find as much stuff as I could find. So most of these articles, which is good, is I've found and I've kind of got copies of them. But literally about a month ago, we randomly get a package from a guy in Fort Myers, Florida. No return address or anything. He said, hey, years ago I did some work at
I
Lottie's.
murdered someone at
Yeah. He's like, yeah. But he's like, I did some work at Lottie's because I found these old articles when I was doing the work, and I kept them. And he's like, I was going to throw them away, but I figured I'd send them to you guys, figure you could use them. Yeah,
Oh,
so we
wow.
so we literally got these a couple months ago.
Oh, wow. These
Yeah,
are fresh.
and then
then.
then sent like, the old coasters from that day, and then here's an old business card. So it was Lottie Zagorski.
The Rathskeller.
That's what they called this down here is a Rathskeller, because a Rathskeller is it's like the basement of City Hall where deals get done. That's what.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
Wow.
He just sent this to
He's only
Yeah.
to be in like glass cages.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Is that her?
Yeah. That's
Wow,
Lottie.
she's tall.
Yeah, she was
Well,
big. She was,
that's the other thing too.
that?
Lottie was. They said hermaphrodite, but I think it was.
Get out
Lottie
of
was
here.
Like over
ahead of
5'5".
her. Yeah, ahead of her time.
yeah. You
Most
see a
like
woman
most
that
like
tall.
a guy with the dress.
Yeah.
Mugshot?
That's her mugshot when she got busted. Yeah.
Wow.
And then,
Unfortunately,
and the other
that's
thing I keep forgetting about is like Nelson Algren used to hang out here, and like the Nelson Algren Society did a big like anniversary party here a few years ago, and somebody had sent me I can't remember what I did with it, but somebody sent me a picture, I believe, of him here, and it was in a book. So it's like he used to hang out here. So
What's
I mean,
crazy? So you're still piecemealing the history of this place together, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So this is almost like a never-ending story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's so much allure, and there was
Yeah.
like, people like, I had this and that, I can't find it, I don't know what happened to it. And I've met, aside from Lottie, because Lottie actually, when she got nailed for gambling here in 1966 at a
Yeah.
full-blown operation.
Yeah.
And then she got nailed, they said, almost to the day in 1967. The same people here doing the same thing.
Wow.
And like her, and there was a it's in one of the articles, but there was a known gangster. It was like Andy the Greek Lucius or something like that. And so he got nailed both times, and then she died in 1972, but they both passed away before they ever testified. The case was ever over.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if that's the case with a lot of people sending stuff in like this. They probably like know things and they're like,
maybe now, but like,
Yeah.
but you know, I've met everybody else that's been here, and they come back, and every now and then, like somebody be like, "Hey, I'm related to Lottie. I just wanted to come check it out. I live out of state or whatever." Yeah, it's been, you know, you do kind of piecemeal, and a
Yeah.
lot of stuff's forgotten over history, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I used to do a documentary on
he said he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, hey, look,
yeah.
we waiting. Well, I'm waiting for it because this is interesting. Like,
yeah, I mean, it is. Like I said, I mean, that's what's cool about this place is that I feel like it's like a little living museum.
Yeah.
You really, you know, and a lot of people when they come out of town, like if you want to see like an old corner tavern in Chicago,
Yeah.
come by and see this. You know,
Yeah.
and it's in a good neighborhood, which is so hard
Right.
to keep going
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everybody just, you know, cancels you and you're going.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying? So it's. You know, and I think the city's finally recognized it.
Right,
like, you
right.
know what, this is a pretty cool place. We need to kind of protect this and not mess with these guys too hard. So.
yeah. So have you seen like with the city kind of like now acknowledging now? Have you got a lot more support? You know, like to kind of keep going.
Well,
or-
what really helped was like the Chicago Fire series and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
right.
now
Yep.
they're like, okay, you know, we really can't
Right.
mess with it. So
Yeah, right.
At least I hope that's what.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't.
right.
I have no idea.
Chicago One. Do they still film here? I know they stopped and.
They only film outdoor scenes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so it's usually like, you know, an episode or two a season.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they still come back. They
Have
just,
you ever been in the episode?
No.
Do you want to?
No.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
That's
So
so
this is the most media I want to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Right,
Yeah, I
right,
don't-
we're
yeah.
done. So what's your favorite piece of history, given everything that you know, like here in Lottie's? Like what's one thing you like, this is dope as hell?
You know, I love the fact, like, I love that it was just such a huge payoff place.
Right.
I mean, that's what I kind of hear over and over. I mean, there was like, you know, somebody, like when we first got this, like digging out the basement, like the city didn't want us to do it.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, it wasn't properly, we didn't have a license down
Right.
here, like a liquor license for it necessarily. We had a placard, but nobody had done anything in so long.
Yeah, expired.
Yeah, you know, so whatever. And the city's like, nah, you can't do it, and this and that. And like, the only option we had is to prove that it always had been here. So we went through with kind of our connections and whatnot, and we talked to police going back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s that all testified. They'd been here, they knew the basement was here, and that's how we ended up having to get it.
Oh,
we
wow.
went through, we went and got policemen where they're like, and a lot of those guys, you know, I kind of got stories, and they
Yeah.
like one guy was talking about like, it's like one time he's like, we had like a police fire party here. He goes like, we shut down the entire intersection. He's like, this whole side, none of this was this was completely empty. He goes, the party was here, party was everywhere. They're
Yeah.
like, it was really, I mean, kind of the known epicenter. So-
That's crazy that you had to go back
Yeah.
that far just
Yep.
to be like, hey.
just to prove that it's always been here. And these are
Right, right.
policemen that are,
Right.
you know, not,
Right.
you know, my grandfather saying that.
That's nuts
Yeah.
that they had to. And then when they were, I could imagine those old guys being like, yeah, I used to party right here.
Yeah.
And people be like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, so they all said like, hey, we've been here, and that was our only chance of getting it. That's where we got it. Yeah. My favorite beer is Coors Banquet beer.
Okay.
I love it, and the hand grenades. And then
Is that what they're
was
called?
probably
Hand
about,
grenades?
yeah, they call them like hand grenades or whatever. But back in, I believe it was like 2013, we started getting like news articles started coming out about Coors Brewing was doing, they did their own research thing. They're like, what is a bar in the United States that most exemplifies the Coors Banquet brand? And then they're like, we asked our partner, whatever. They had a whole thing. It was like I think it was in Cranes. It was in like Chicago business and all that stuff. And they're like, it's Lottie's Pub.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it. And
Wow.
so Pete Coors came here to give us a plaque. And I'm like, this is my James Beard Award.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
And I'm like, do you understand? Like, you know, he's like, sure you love Coors. I'm like, you don't understand.
yeah, yeah.
And it was funny. Another guy I knew, he was in media, and he wrote another article, and he's like, I can't believe this happened because the owner, that's his favorite beer, like, hard
Yeah.
stopped. Yeah. So it was like, for me, that was like,
Yeah, you got the plaque?
yeah, it's behind the bar.
Oh
It's
my
upstairs.
God, I would brag every time somebody walked in the building.
Yeah.
like, as soon as somebody said, "Hey, you got a James Beard?" No, but check
Yeah,
this
yeah,
out.
yeah. Even better.
yeah. That's so
And it
dope.
was already your favorite before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, this couldn't be better. Or
Oh, that was meant for you. It
Yeah.
was meant for you. It was you went through the fire to get the
Yeah.
place. You know, like you get the, and now that. So yeah, it was meant for you.
Here's what I'm most proud of Lottie's at this point, and this is what I feel like it's become. Like when I go out of town and I go to other cities, I always want to find like what's an old rusty, dusty, what's the dive, what do I have to see? And I feel like every city has one, and I think this has really become that. Like I hear that so many times out of town, people from out of town, like we knew we had to go check out Lottie's.
Yep.
And like to me, that's the most exciting, and I think the best compliment to Lottie's. So.
All right, so right now we're about to go behind the bar Lottie's, right? Excuse me, y'all. And we're gonna see that plaque that he's talking about. Check this out. Get the hell out of here. That's nasty. That's nasty. That's literally one of the coolest things that we done seen, man. Is the owner right here, man. How does that make you feel?
I'm proud. I'm honored.
Do you like slap it like how like college students do? Like,
Yeah,
yeah. I would do that every day. Thanks for letting us see this, man.
Yeah, no.
All right.
So cool.
So cool. A lot of history to unpack
I can't
there.
believe people just let us in these places.
Yeah, for real. Right, and see the things that we see. But on that note, thank you to Lottie's for allowing us inside and partake in the festivities today.
Yeah.
If you missed today, you missed the day. Let me just tell you that.
You
'cause-
can come back on
yeah,
any other
right.
day
Just
and
come kick
support
it.
them, yeah.
Just come kick it. Go kick it on the first floor. You decide which one is first.
You know?
But we're done. We're gonna sleep off some of this beer because I've been drinking all week.
And it's morning.
And it is morning. It really is morning.
It is literally morning.
Bro, it's like 11:30. So
Barely.
yeah. But anyway, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the follow button.
You know what time it is.
Yeah, we appreciate you for watching this episode.
See you next week.
Yes, sir.
Bye.